with us Siddhant Garg, also from Pathways Noida. And Siddhant got into LSE, that's London School of Economics. And it's a pleasure to have you here, Siddhant. Please share a little bit about yourself, about your school, about why you decided to go to LSE.
Pleasure to be over here. Thank you so much for inviting me. So my name is Siddhant Garg. I'm currently technically in grade 12 of Pathway School Noida, and I, just like Ananya, I was an IBDP student as well. So I applied to the London School of Economics and Political Science in October 2020, and I'm going to be a part of the graduating class of 2024. So a bit about myself, the subjects that I took in grade 11 and 12. So I took geography, economics, and mathematics, application, interpretation at the higher level. And at the standard level, I took English, environmental studies and systems and societies, and Hindi at the standard level. So I believe that these are certain subjects which are oriented with the social sciences, as we were previously discussing as well. So that's a bit about myself, a little bit, yeah.
Okay. So, Siddhant, why LSE? Why did you decide to apply to LSE? And why are you finally going to enroll and start your college at LSE?
Right. So the London School of Economics is a prestigious institute for the social sciences, as we're all aware, and are doing some groundbreaking work in various fields, especially in the social sciences. In addition to the prestige of the university, I think LSE has always appreciated a certain diversity in its student body, with over 70% of the students being from countries which are not the UK. So they're international students with who you can interact with very easily, and you can connect with them. In addition to that, London, in my opinion, is a melting pot of culture where the diffusion of numerous cultural traits, really unbinds you and unravels the individual within you. It's the electricity of the city, something which really calls to you. It's fascinating actually. And furthermore, like studying in the UK, which is possibly a future leader in sustainability, which I will also be introducing later on, will help me fine tune my academic and leadership abilities in a course which I want to do, which is about environmental stewardship and also a career in policy making.
Okay, and why did you decide that major? Can you talk a little bit about what specific major you are planning to study and why that major?
Sure. So when I came to deciding about my major, it took me a long process, and I actually was the last day where I changed the major as well. So there's a lot of roller coaster rides that I had to go on just to envision what I wanted to do at the LSE. So before actually deciding my major, I decided the college, which I believe was not a very good decision. But later on, it was a stroke of luck, which really met because a lot of my previous siblings have been cousins have been to the LSE, and they said that it's a very good university for the social sciences. Knowing that, I was also very keen to apply there. However, I applied to the university. I looked at the university first, and then at the course. And the course that I'm applying to is the Bachelor of Science in Environmental Policy and Economics. So why I applied to this course was that I seem to have fostered an appreciation for interdisciplinarity through the IBDP, because the International Baccalaureate, it really encourages you to take subjects from a various array of subjects it's provided. So for example, you have to take a science, or you have to take a social science subject, you compulsory take math as well. I know a lot of students don't like that, but I think it's truly rewarding to take mathematics because it's an applicable field in the future. In addition, you also have to take a language and literature, for example, English, and an additional language such as Hindi. So through this, I was able to really understand how diverse subjects, entwine to make something which is really worthwhile and to study as well. So I wanted to continue doing that at a higher scale as well at a university level. So it really strengthened my understanding about the entwinement of areas that I like, which are politics, economics, and nature. So by pursuing an undergraduate degree that combines my passion for environment, my academic strengths in mathematics and economics, and a zeal to explore the various societal interlinkages that we have. So I think I could design certain solutions that benefit the entire spectrum of society through this specific major, because it cultivates such an interdisciplinary nature that you'd love to do it regardless of whatever course you would or whatever background you have.
Superb. That's very exciting, Siddhant. Okay, do tell us a little bit about your high school grades and if you took any standardized tests or any English proficiency tests.
Right. I did not take any standardized tests, much like because of the COVID-19 pandemic, where I was planning to give it in the March, I think in the March schedule, but it was cancelled. And with that, I was also kind of discouraged to apply to certain other universities. So, especially for the UK, I'm not sure how important the SAT is, but I've heard that you can definitely add it to your profile, and it may add certain things that, for example, if you want to show your aptitude, I think that's a good way of showing that. If you get a 1400 plus score, 1500 plus score in the SATs, or decent score in the ACTs as well, that will add value to your application. It's just that if you want to really showcase your, although I didn't do it, but it's something that I definitely advise others to do, is that you could enroll in certain AP examinations, which is the advanced placement examinations, and which are specific to your field, of course, in the future, or also look into certain courses such as on Coursera or Udemy, I think. So you could really learn more about that, and you can add that to your personal profile later as well. But other than that, I think that the grades, otherwise my grades were in grade 10, grade 9 and 10, was a part of the IB MYP program, was a middle years program. So
Mm-hmm.
before doing the diploma program, I was in the middle years program in my freshman and sophomore year. So in that, basically, I was placed in the top 7% of my class. So I had scored a 50 on 56. And after that, I went on to do the diploma program, the IB. Uh, since our grades are yet to be announced on the July 5th and our boards are cancelled, but our school does release certain predicted grades, and I was predicted a 44 and 45. So although the predictors are based on your past performance and the teachers' ability to judge you and who they think you are, I think that adds value as well to your profile in the long run. So that's a bit about
Okay,
my test scores. Mm.
wonderful. And that brings us to your extracurricular activities. What
Mhm.
all extracurricular activities did you participate in? Um, or maybe super curricular activities, something maybe because UK looks at a lot of academic,
Yeah, I agree.
demonstration of academic prowess. So tell us a little bit about that.
Definitely. So, like a lot of the activities that I was a part of in the past 4 years, is actually they were rarely planned with the intention of making it to my university of choice. Because in ninth grade, I was more of a person who just did anything he desired at the moment, and he didn't was not interested in the thought of university at the moment. Although my sister had just been going to university, and I didn't really think of doing anything in accordance to what I wanted to pursue at university. Although I've over the years I've seen now my juniors in eighth grade, ninth grade, they start learning coding at such a young age. They're doing internships. They're going on social media platforms to advocate certain campaigns, which is highly impressive. But that wasn't the case in my experience. So but however, and one of the first experiences and one of the ones that I really loved, truly admired, was with regard to a creativity activity and service program initiative. So that's part of the IB diploma program, but you can make that something about yourself. So I spearheaded a program, an initiative to raise awareness about the environmental issues. So I talked about air pollution and water pollution, climate change, etc., on a very primary scale, especially which were concerned with my society and also the school. However, through that process, I realized that instead of just discussing environmental issues, it was a valuable thing to also advocate certain policies or certain thought processes that you could include in your daily lifestyle. So, for example, I learned about the zero waste lifestyle, the circular economy, rainwater harvesting, and stuff like that. And we drove certain campaigns along with the team that I had created from our school. So, a team which consisted of researchers, content developers, people who are interested in the arts to draw up campaign posters, and also those who are interested in public speaking, have a genuine interest in the environment. So again, like we were able to strike a chord with one another. Okay, so I think something that students should also do is find people who have similar interests to you. Once you do that, I think you eliminate each other's weaknesses and also complement to the other's strengths. So once you do that, I think it is beneficial in the long run as well. So after that, I went on to start a composting pit in my school. So a compost is basically where you use old food or food that you're about to dispose. Instead of throwing it in a trash can, you could actually compost it to make manure. So in my school, we composted through the project that I led, we composted over 40 kgs of food every day. So that was raw food waste. In addition to that, I also majorly discussed in my college profile as well my model UN experiences. So as a delegate and as a chairperson as well, which is a part of the executive board. So in specific to that, I was also a chairperson for the United Nations Environment Program at my school's MUN. So that again went coincidentally with what my major was, and I still didn't know what I was going to apply for. So it was all slowly panning on its own way, and I didn't even know that. And other than that, I took part in two internships. So one of them was an internship at the Energy and Resources Institute, TERI. It's located in Delhi only. So with them, I started this at the start through midway through lockdown, where we researched how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected levels of air pollution in 30 different Indian cities. So we used various statistical tests. So that really combined my passion for mathematics and also environment, and like you struck a chord again. So the factor of interdisciplinarity played a lot over here, that I was able to use mathematics in something that was something which really I resonated with. So that was really interesting for me. Although I didn't get a chance to add it to my UCAS college profile very majorly, I was my school's sports captain, and I included that very briefly in my UCAS personal statement as well, because I think that added a component of leadership which the LSE really looks for in their students. And I played basketball at a state level twice, and I was also part of the ISSO, like International School Sports Organization's national team for the School Games Federation of India National Championship.
Wow, that's a lot of things to cover. Wonderful,
So sorry.
Siddhant.
Yeah.
You have kept yourself very busy over the last few
Mhm.
years. So that brings us to our second last question, or maybe the last question, and that is, what was your UCAS essay about? What did you write in that, and how did you inspire yourself to write your UCAS essay?
Right. Mhm. So the UCAS personal statement of purpose is one of the most uh, it's a brilliant way to showcase who you are as an individual, but you sometimes think that it's so less that you really don't know what to tell to the other person who's reading this. Is that you have around 4,000 characters just to speak about yourself, and you think that I'm so much bigger than just 4,000 characters, right? And Ananya previously stated as well that 4,000 characters seems like very less, but in reality, you can talk so much in those 4,000 characters that actually, I was awestruck when I saw that. So I started off with writing around 1,000 words in my first draft. So just listed down my experiences, how I thought I could, create something out of the various extracurriculars that I did that I didn't even know I could add to my college profile until I started writing my UCAS essay. But then, however, like whilst I had done all of those things that I talked about, I wanted to curate a theme of these activities. So a theme is something which is really important to a UCAS personal statement, because I think the first moment you start reading the personal statement, the reader should understand what he's getting into and what he's going to be studying in the next, so going to be reading in the next, I think, 5 minutes possibly. So after seeing my experience, I thought the theme of interdisciplinarity can perfectly encapsulate my interest in the chosen major that I had. So I explained this before as well. So very interesting thing was that my intention was to apply for the Bachelor of Science in Geography with Economics, which was another course in the Department of Geography and Environment that I've applied to. However, day before submitting my application, my UCAS application on 11th October, I realized how, unknowingly I had, to my surprise, created an ideal profile for the course that I'm now going to study, the Environmental Policy with Economics course. So it was actually till the last moment that I realized that what my interests really are. So it's not necessary that for a person in ninth grade to know what they really want to do right now. It's perfectly fine. I think that until unless you don't stop exploring, I think that's the most important thing. I just saw a video yesterday as well that you have so much time this summer, explore it to get to know yourselves better. Spend some time with your family and really discuss with them what you think is a good idea for yourself. So I think through that, you, unlike me, unknowingly you create a profile which university people like. So maybe it was a stroke of luck. So I advise others to be more aware of the interests. So this was a bit of my UCAS essay where I just brought everything together and incorporated into a certain theme.
Superb. That's great. Siddhant, tell us a little bit about, like, so you did so many extracurricular activities, internships, summer program. What activity out of these In your opinion, which of these helped you stand out?
Mhm. So definitely, I think the first two experiences that I had, which were spearheading an initiative for the environment, although it wasn't a very large-scale initiative, it was something that introduced me into the importance of environmental protection. Other than that, I think the second one was really that cultivated the fact that I'm willing to do something about it. So it was through those initiatives that I realized that societal transformation stems from within. It was a book that I read, The Necessary Transformation, that really taught me that. I include that in my personal statement as well. So when you learn about things that you're supposed to, instead of depending on others, you start from within. You introduce changes in your own life. So that's when I really understood the importance of environmental protection and started doing something about it. So launching a compost pit, which composted over 40 kgs of food every day. That was something which I think was really important to me as an individual.
Wonderful. We are coming towards the end of this session with you. It was really great interacting with you. And before we close this, Siddhant, tell us, would you like to share any final piece of advice with these grade 10, grade 11 students who are uh, going to apply or considering applying to the London School of Economics?
Sure. So my first and foremost advice would be to not chase the name of the LSE, because I did that and maybe it panned out well, but in reality, the LSE is a rigorous college, and if you're just going for the prestige of the name, I advise you not to, because it can, although it can provide a better professional future for you, but if it's not meant for you, don't look for the university itself. Explore what the university is and look at it. How you'd really mesh well over there. So committing to the LSE in grade 9, grade 10 is a big decision. But if you're sure about your choices, I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. You know what direction you want to go towards. So that's a really admirable thing. But also keep your options open at the side as well. I'd advise you all to like participate in activities that genuinely interest you and engage you. I think Ananya really shed light on that, where you should pursue activities which actually motivate you to become a better individual, and one that you'd be willing to do in the future as well. And don't just do it for the sake of adding to your CV. It doesn't pay off in the long run, in my opinion. Other than that, I think hang in there. Focus on cultivating a profile. Look at the course that interests you at the LSE. When I talk about the LSE, you can look at the undergraduate section of the website and look about the courses which could interest you. So, if, for example, if you like international and social public policy, you could look at their course. Once you do that, you could go to the assess your application section to explore the personal characteristics, skills, and attributes section, which the university is looking for. Over there, you can look at what the university is actually searching for in their student. For example, one of the courses that I've chosen required me to be a vocal person, one that can share thoughts very easily. So I think if the course that you decide resonates with your attributes, your personal characteristics and skills, definitely go for it. Other than that, if you want to be more sure about the course you're applying to, I advise you to explore the preliminary reading section, which is prescribed by each course that you've chosen at the LSE. So the course professors decide which preliminary reading you might want to do if you're applying for a course. You can skip through a book, you can download a few of its summary and see if it really generally interests you. If it does, well and good. Or other than that, you could choose another course and see if the book interests you over there.
Wonderful. That's really great advice, Siddhant. To all the people who are out there, and if you want to ask any questions, Siddhant, if you please hang out for a moment and just be
Sure,
there
sure.
in the Q&A feature and just type out the answers. And if you want to ask questions specifically to Siddhant, I would just recommend all of you to just mention Siddhant before writing the question so that he would know that the question is directed specifically towards him. With that, we are coming towards the end of this part. Thank you so much, Siddhant, once again for sharing all your wonderful about your profile, about your extracurricular activities, about your UCAS essay. It was great hearing all of that. Thank you once again. Thank you
Most
for
welcome.
joining. Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
We'll just wait for a moment and then start the next session. And my colleague Devika is here from Next Genius, and she's going to be the moderator for the next couple of sessions.